Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Steel Division Normandy 44. Today I have a very interesting game for you. I'm playing as the 12th SS Panzer. On my team I have Iso Reamer, and playing as the 17th SS Panzergrenadiers, and Temagok, who's also playing as the 12th SS Panzer. On the opposing team we have 1 15th Infantry Division, 2nd Infantry, and the 3rd Armored. This game starts just about as you might think a game would start. Like, it's nothing really special going on, a couple of skirmish battles, and yeah, not really much happening in terms of initial engagement. I have this game on neutral mode because I want you to see where the other where my opponent has his units. And this game, as it says in the title, ended up being a 1v3, where I'm basically just tank spamming the opposing team, and yeah, we'll see how this goes. So I'm over here on the left side, just trying to do a rush on the far left to gain some ground, and we do manage to do so with the +1 lead. Also bringing up my Firefly, as well as some 259s, supported by the Panzergrenadier for the extra veterancy, and everything just gets wrecked on this area here. So my opponent is not having a good time at the moment here. I sent this SPV 222 on an attack move over on this side, forget about it, and the M4A1 pretty much gets a free kill. Unfortunate, but hey, there you go. A 222 traded for all this infantry and all the half tracks. It's not a bad trade. Targeting my Panzergrenadier to take out the veterancy. Manages to do so. Now I'm moving up my Firefly to engage the M4A1. Taking some shots in return. Armored rifles gets pinned down just before they get into line of sight of my Aufklärer. And my Panzergrenadiers are doing a push on the left side. In the center, a lot of fighting going on over this patch of trees here. And on the right side, very thinly spread out front line here for the moment. We have this storage here, which is providing us with, let me see, some recon, but as you can see, there's mostly just infantry in this tree line, which is making it hard to spot for the storage. And this tree line here is very well defended as of now. Over on my side again, just keeping to pin down all the armored rifles moving up and down the tree lines, making the M4A1 pull back, but now it's going to start to engage again. Moving up some extra 259s to support my already almost depleted as the 259s there. We're actually out of 20 mil already, as you can see. Manages to take out the M4A1 and also a looks like a M8 Scott here. The armored rifle surrenders. So now it's just a matter of time before I destroy this unit here. Also bringing up some extra infantry to support my teammate here. As you can see, he's not having the best of time capturing this patch of trees here. And this is where it started to go wrong for me, because this Pak 38 is moving up too slowly, and my Panzergrenadiers are gonna get caught by the armored rifles, which is out of sight for me currently. and also the M3 half-track. This is going to be destroyed, of course, by the Panzerfaust very soon. Starting to engage the M4A1 amphibious on my right flank here. Weapon damage, which immediately brings all his ammo down to 0 because now he can't fire, which is nice for me, and rip a M4A1. Now I also bring up a Befehlenpanzer just to support my infantry. I do also have one Panzergrenadier Führer here. As you can see, now I'm starting to get the crossfire from all sides. And this Pakan just is just outside range of the, or visual range of the half-track, so I have to move this like slightly left. Do so on an attack move, and well, at this range, no chance. Crew bailed out. Next shot is gonna finish him off. Or actually, no? That's weird. Bringing up some 259s to support my infantry, but they do have a long way to travel though. And as I said, this flank is gonna start to fall because my opponent is gonna start to focus on this side, and this M8 Scott is gonna be the absolute devil for me this entire first half of the game. An absolute nuisance. Now the 107 mortar is doing some suppression damage on my units. I actually don't know what happened here because I thought I brought up a supply truck to resupply my 259s, but apparently I didn't do so, and I just brought up another 259. I don't know what happened. So there they come. And finally I realized my mistake and bring in the Opel Blitz munitions truck. In the center, my teammates bringing up some infantry reinforcements to support this tree line here. On the right side, not really much happening, just setting up defensive line here, and basically turns into a stalemate, which allows my opponent, what's it called, Alexanderu, to basically just bring in reinforcement and set up a really nice wall of defensives here for me to have a bad time with later in the game, as you will see. So my plan this game was basically just to try to be really aggressive and try to take out as many units as possible, and just make as much room as possible. Now you can see my infantry is starting to be pinned down, losing all of this territory here, which allows the opponent to get the +1 lead with the 51% map control. And now finally the Opel Blitz munitions is on site, which allows my units to get resupplied and ready to push up. M4A1 here. I actually don't realize that this is engaging the units over here, and then when I finally do, I try to push up with the Panzergrenadiers, but the M4A1 just basically mows them down with the 50 cal and the 30 cal here. And I do actually have the option to bring over this pack gun over here in the tree line. Unfortunately, I forget about it and don't do so until it's too late. So, mistake on my part there, but I was having so much hard time microing up this, so I was trying to basically regain my position over here, but it's basically just a lost cause here. Moving up some Panzergrenadiers to start engaging in the bushes. My opponent's bringing up a lot of AT guns here to deal with my half-tracks and Firefly. bringing up some attack beacons here, because something needs to be done over this patch here so we can get the +1 lead again. And to be honest, I was pretty mad at my teammates here, because they were not working together, and they was just basically ignoring every what can I say? I wasn't giving them commands, so to speak, but I was like giving them some. Can I get some help here? You should use some artillery. They was just basically ignored me, and which led them to finally just surrender and leave. I don't know why. I wasn't being rude or anything. I was just being like polite and saying, "Hey, dude, you should maybe try to do this and try to do that." I wasn't. So I don't know. Anyway, they leave, and I end up being alone in this game, which turns interesting. Finally, bringing up my Pak 38 to try to deal with the M4A1. The M4A1 actually managed to sideshot my Firefly here, which is very unfortunate. And boom, there goes the M4. Now my left flank is being reinforced by the half-tracks and some Panzergrenadiers. And there goes my first teammate, not doing anything on the right side basically, just setting up and then just surrendering. So I don't know what happens there. Which basically gives me control over his units. So now I have to micro both the far left and far right side. And it's going to start going very, very badly for me very fast on this right side here. So I said to my teammate here, "Hey dude, I can't like micro both sides. I don't have the resources or capabilities to do so. So if you can help, just help me on the right side." And it does bring up 2 tanks, I believe, but immediately when they start to meet some resistance, he basically just surrenders. Now my opponent is starting to do actually a combined push. As you can see, JM and Dahlgren is doing a combined push on the far left here to do some damage to my units here. Lose my pack gun, which is very unfortunate because now I have absolutely no AT. But we have reached phase B, which allows me to bring up these beautiful Panther Ds to start doing some works on the enemy armor. But as from now, also bringing up another AT gun. But for now, I'm gonna start to struggle real bad here, because as you can see, I only have some scattered infantry. This Emmet Scott has finally arrived on site, which is going to allow him to wreck my infantry and the light vehicles. Taking also the mortar damage from the 107 over here, which is being a total nuisance to my units. I think I forget about this Panzergrenadier Führer, and I think it's gonna be destroyed. Can't really remember. Over in the middle though, my teammate has set up a pretty decent defensive line here with some infantry, and also supported by the Firefly. Maybe should have moved that out on the left side, but the half-track does the job on pinning down the M1919, supported by the mortar half-track. Now you can see my position on the far right is basically just getting overrun by mortars, half-tracks, Churchills, everything basically. I have nothing to... I have absolutely nothing to defend myself with there. Because my efforts is really being pushed to the left side here. This command M4A1 is going to push up a little too close to my Panzer Grenadiers, but does have its front turned against my units, which allows, and they actually miss as well. And well, that shot exposes them and gets them pinned down, and I basically have to make them fall back. But very awkward fallback position there, just running back and forth before they really start moving. Now moving up my other pack gun to deal with the M4A1. Now I have some extra points from my teammate leaving. I'm now bringing up 2 Panther Ds, and also have 2 Panther Ds here to deal with the enemy armor. Just really struggling here to basically hold any ground. You can see my Panzer Grenadiers are just getting pinned down and taking a lot of damage from the MH Scott and the M3 half-tracks. And this is actually out of ammo, and I don't realize before it's too late. Moving up my Panther Ds to deal with the enemy M4A3s, which is easy prey for my for my Panthers, and also the command tank gets side-shotted by my Panther D here and well rip all the enemy armor. All my units here slowly starting to be take losses and be destroyed, which is really unfortunate. Also taking some airstrikes there from the P-47 Thunderbolt, and the mortar still, and also now 105mm howitzers being the absolute nuisance of my Panthers there, making them fall back from suppression. So not really much going on over here now, just some taking some damage, falling back, pushing up, falling back. Not the most exciting of games, but I assure you it will be very interesting when my last teammate leaves and I just decide to fuck it. Enemies still have the +1 lead, and yeah, since I don't have any actual AT units or nothing at all basically on this right side, my teammate bringing up some extra reinforcements here, which is nice. My opponent's doing the same in the middle. My opponents actually don't have that many units here in the far left, so of course I don't know that because I don't have visibility. As you can see, this is what I see. I can't really see anything. But I do start to push up my Panther Ds. So I have 4 Panther Ds pushing up now, supported by the Befehlenpanzer. Taking some shots at the M1 gun. Making that pin down. Also bringing up a Panther D on the far left side to deal with this fucking M8, which has basically now wrecked all my units on the left side. On the right side, my teammate is finally starting to bring up some armor to support me on the this flank here. Being pinned down by the M1 gun here, destroying all of the reinforcement coming up this road, which is very unfortunate. And I of course don't have any AA, but fortunately they don't manage to pin them down and make them fall back. I'm still very much in the game here. Now my Panther Ds gets a line aside of the enemy reinforcements coming in on this side. Just keeping the M8 got occupied, so can't really push, while my AT gun moves up along with the Panther D. Also another Panther D and some infantry reinforcements. And for some reason my teammate here, which surrendered in the early stages of the match, finally decides to leave. And just as he leaves, Tomahawk, my other teammate, surrenders and leave the game. And now all of this is mine. At this point, I gotta be honest, I was pretty darn pissed because we were kind of holding, and I was starting to make my push and making some ground back so we can get at least the +1 lead, or maybe take the +1 lead away from the enemy team. But yeah, both my teammates leave and now I'm alone, and I'm just decided to fuck it, put everything in the middle on attack move towards the center and just let them do their thing. And now I'm just starting to bring up a crap ton of armor. This armor was actually brought in by my teammate, and I don't know why, but it's just stopped here, and since I was focusing on the front line, I actually didn't notice that it was sitting in the back here. But I do move it up eventually. And now, finally, my spear troop is the last line of defense here, and getting absolutely wrecked by the enemy mortars and tanks and everything, moving up to finish the kill and gain some ground. But now the tides are going to turn, ladies and gentlemen. Just watch what happens in the next couple of minutes in this game. Panther D's still making an awesome job of keeping away the enemy armor and infantry. There's actually not a lot of here, as you can see. And now I'm bringing up the infantry as well to start a combined armor and infantry push on the far left to regain some ground. And also with the extra points, I believe I have like 460 points per turn now when the point ticker gives points. So I start to bring in some airplanes just to deal with the constant spam of enemy aircraft coming in on my units here. And as you can see, it works pretty well. And I actually max out my off-map deck. And yeah, I'm gonna bring in a crap ton of planes myself later in the game. Getting into a turn fight with the P-47 Thunderbolt just so it doesn't get on the tail of my ME-109. It does eventually start to turn around and get on my tail though. Let's see here what happens. Well, rip. I don't know, did it actually make it out? I actually think it made it out. As you can see, actually making quite a lot of ground here, pushing through this forest here with my units. Which is nice. And now also taking out the final defense on the far left side, and now it's pretty much free ground for me to just push up here. And my Panther Ds, I have lost one, I believe. Or no, actually up here. But yeah, engaging these enemy jumbos. And jumbos are a real challenge for even the Panthers because of the massive 21 front armor. But at this range, the jumbo is absolutely lethal. But had I managed to get the shot on the jumbo there, I might have actually taken it out. now some more aircraft spam from my opponents there. Still pushing up here with the Jagdpanther and some half tracks and some enemy units supported by the Panzergrenadier Führer, also using the Panzerwerfer to suppress anything in these buildings and over here, but there's really not much here, but I didn't know that. Pushing my half tracks up to take on the infantry here. And finally, the Panzer, which is the Panther Gs, is on site, because we have reached phase C, and now I'm going to start to take back a lot of this ground here. Because this infantry don't have any AT capability, which is basically free kills for me. Over on the left side though, still engaging these jumbos and the M10 tank destroyer. Manages to get a critical on the jumbo and transmission damage. Now my Panther D is starting to engage the jumbo over here, along with the other Panther D. Taking a lot of shots there, making it fall back. P-47 Thunderbolts come in to stun my Panther Ds and make them fall back. Fortunately, they do reverse though, so if the jumbo gets off any shots, it won't like get side-shotted. Now bringing in some planes on station to quickly deal with any enemy air coming in. Basically, guys, the tank spam here is absolutely real. All I'm bringing in at this moment is just more tanks, and more, yeah, basically just spam tanks. Finally, the unit in the back is moving up. My Panther, unfortunately, moves up too far and gets side-shotted by the 17-pounder here. But I do manage to get the +1 lead with the 57% map control by this push on the far left. And now it's just a matter of cleaning up every bit of resistance on this side here. And also bringing up some Bode Firefly, supported by the Befehlen Panzer, which is also the Panther G, to just start pushing in this bulge here. As you can see, there's really not much left here except some infantry. And of course, as you can see, I don't know that. But I am going to start to push in here with some armor and some extra infantry to clean up. Enemy infantry really rushing my positions here. Now you can see the sky is just filled with Me-109s. Over on the far left side, my Panthers are back in the game. I do believe I take one loss. Yeah, there it is. No, that's the... where did my other Panther go? Yeah, I believe it was destroyed because I did have... No, there it is. So yeah, still going strong, apparently. I didn't actually catch a lot of things going on in this game. I just basically just said fuck it and put everything on attack move into the enemy lines. Just depleting their resources, basically. Assault Pioneers throwing grenades at my Panzer 4 here. Doing some damage, but not enough, and my other Panther G is moving up and takes the kill. And any second now I'm gonna unload this and start attack moving in the center. And now just an absolute spam of tanks here from my opponent's side, doing a combined push again with JM and Dahlgren pushing up with his armor. I am trying to flank around though with my Panther Ds. Now just to try to deplete their infantry reinforcement, I'm bringing up a crap ton of these half tracks here just to, yeah, just basically thin the lines out of infantry. So my Panther Gs on attack move won't stop to engage every infantry unit over here. Doesn't go too well for them though, to be honest. Now finally managed to close the gap with my Panthers moving in on from the left side, and my Panthers and infantry moving in from the bottom on the center. And now there's just a little pocket of resistance here, and I'm just basically gonna attack move all these units inside the little bubble here. More planes on station to deal with enemy planes, basically. Now as you can see, just being wrecked by these Churchills and the 17-pounder. Every one of them like bunching up and getting all the suppression all at the same time. Gets side-shotted by the 17-pounder here, and now goes one down. So this right side is proving to be a real struggle because my teammate allowed my opponent here to just put up this massive defensive line here with AT guns and crap ton of infantry and tanks and whatever. So I'm not gonna be able to capture this basically, but I am going to be able to capture everything else because, as you can see, not really much that many units left here. I actually managed to do the 62% territory control, which gives me the +2 lead. And at this point I was like, how the fuck am I even winning this game? Because even though I get access to a lot of points and can bring in some heavy units, they can easily just micro their way into killing them, because as you can see I'm losing a lot of units here because simply I'm not simply paying attention over on this side. I'm focusing here to just cut off their reinforcements. So this is my focus right now, and everything going on this side and center is basically just the AI controlling the units for me on attack move. So I'm not doing anything here, so they can easily just outflank me and yeah, do whatever really to get the territory back. And with the last pocket of resistance destroyed and pushing back the territory just to the limit here, I get the 66% territory control and giving me the +3 lead, which is giving me the victory in 6 minutes and 12 seconds. Doing some substantial damage though with my Panther Ds and these support vehicles, but again, these are still on attack move, so they're just gonna be forced to retreat and then fall back and push up again, all on their own. And Assault Pioneers makes them retreat there when they get suppressed. Shooter knocked out, which is not good at all. I think it was about this point I just realized that, okay, I can't like keep pushing my tanks up one and one, so I'm just basically gonna start to bunch up my tanks here and then start to push them up all at the same time basically. But as you can see, huge pocket of resistance here, but it is the last push from the teammate in this little bulge here, and I have them completely outflanked by the Boda Firefly, Panther Gs, Panther Ds, and Pioneer Squad. So yeah, they can't really do much from here unless they get really lucky. This is my opponent's attack beacons, as you can see. I think they were getting a little worried when they see the bolt starting to move in on the backside of his defense line, which is not good for him at all. But yeah, now the push is starting on the left side here from the center, and I'm just gonna get the 70% territory control, which is absolutely insane considering this is a 1 versus 3 here. Armor starting to push up, more support and some infantry, and here comes the glorious Luftwaffe in a glorious line formation there, wiggling and squiggling. I don't know what they're doing, but whatever. Just to deter any aircraft coming in, basically. And these units actually get flanked by this 76mm gun, which is unfortunate, and the Panther G actually just gets instantly side-shotted, and yeah, I actually managed to move this Firefly behind the houses here, so it's without visual range of the AT guns, which is nice. And now I'm starting to focus more and more over here. I just basically have these units sitting here, putting a pack gun up here on the road to cover anything coming down. So yeah, these are just basically sitting down to cover the road in case they decide to bring in any more armor. And now the push is starting. They do have a Piat here, which is good, but it's as soon as they start to engage one of my Panther Gs, all of the other ones is just gonna annihilate those units. So not really too worried that they're there. As you can see, 3, 2... RIP. This is actually pretty awesome here. Panthastic, am I right? Sorry. That was bad. Still managing to basically keep the pressure on. Taking some damage, and some of them gets destroyed. Actually not quite sure what that got destroyed from. Maybe it was the rockets, which is weird. I have never seen a Panther G get destroyed by rockets from planes anymore, but as you can see, even with all these Panther Gs pushing up, with the 17-pounders and the Churchill, it's just not going to happen with the push here. Decide to try to push them more on the right side. It doesn't really matter though. It's 1 minute left of the battle, and I still have +3 lead. Not really sure what happens here. Try to bring in some infantry. I do not actually know that there's infantry in the buildings here. As you can see, I have no idea that there's infantry here. I basically thought they were just bringing in tanks here. But yeah, my push didn't go very well on the from the center here. All of my infantry and light armored vehicles gets destroyed. Panther G has broken track, so it can't move. But it can still do some damage if they get in line of sight of the rifles here, because it can still traverse. And of course the turret is still moving. Doesn't really matter though. with 5 seconds left on the clock, and final glorious push from the fatherland here. The game comes to an end. It says major defeat here, but that's because I was in the neutral perspective, I believe, because as you clearly saw, I won that game. And in terms of kills, almost getting 10,000 kills there, and also taking a crap ton of losses, of course. But good game to my opponents there, Alexander, I don't know, JM and Dogren. Good game to you, gentlemen, and hope to catch you in another one. In terms of kills, well, as you can see, this is on the Allied side actually. So for some reason, I actually see it from Alexander's perspective on this end screen here. I don't know why. Maybe it's a bug. I don't know. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this battle, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more.